Hello everyone and welcome. This is Angelina and I'd like to say thank you for joining us today again for the Smada World Opportunity Webinar offered by Next Level Africa. Today's webinar is going to provide with up-to-date information on the latest news that we have for you on the various aspects of our business. And as usual, we will be having a Q&A at the end. Yes, this webinar is recorded and we do provide links to our members. I'd like to say a warm welcome to everyone joining us today from all over the world in many time zones. We just love it that you all turn out no matter what the time of the day is. It really means a lot to us, and we can see our numbers rising every week with the responses. So we have Canada, the US, Australia, the Netherlands, Barbados, Spain, France, and the UK. Welcome everyone. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you to our presenter for today, Mr. Noel Adams, the founder of Next Level Africa and our CEO and leader of the Smada team. Welcome, Noel.
Thanks, Angelina, and welcome everybody to the webinar. As we go to the webinar now, I'm still looking for updates coming through because we deal with the technical team in Los Angeles and it's probably around the 1 o'clock of the afternoon for them, so they're halfway through their day. So we try to get as the most current information from them. As you probably well know, that the CEX site, and of course GX is down because they're adding things to it now. I don't know how long it will be down. This is all in the hands of the programmers out there, the technical team, and but they're working as quickly as they can to get that completed because they want to start trading on there, or the bank want to start trading on there as soon as possible. We have a lot of money that's been added to the exchange, and we have a lot of investors that have now registered on the exchange, so we want to be able to follow that through. So as you can see, that the CEX has been down now for a couple of days, which is a good sign. And just to be clear, that CEX is also linked to Next Level Africa, so you may find that Next Level Africa intermittently goes down because of things that they have to do on there as well. Just moving on, look, the banks have pretty much got us under the microscope on what's going on, particularly with the projects. So if anybody's got projects on their site, anyone that's now on line 5, if they could go to their projects and go through them, the programming team actually deleted a project from the system there, and it caused a nightmare. So they had to get that all sorted out and fixed up. So if anybody's got any projects, certainly go there, because the bank are going through it now. So we're getting ready to, as you know, getting ready to the trip to America, so that the allocation of funds can be allocated, and that's all in relation to our projects that we have on there. Just to be clear, with Next Level Africa as well, we have almost completed line 5. We had a few hiccups with it, and we managed to get them sorted out. And one of the reasons it's taking a little bit longer, that we're making sure that no one misses out. We really want to make sure the community, for whatever reason, some people have hit hard times and they've not available for whatever reason. We've got people that we found them in hospital, and so we want to make sure that we do everything we possibly can to make sure those members don't miss out on their positions. So I've requested line 6 now, so once we get line 6 in, we'll be going through that, and that happens when all of line 5 has been upgraded, and there's been many upgrades. And just for your benefit now, particularly for the members that have gone into the matrix in the first 3-4 lines out there, you can upgrade now to package 3. So if anybody wants to upgrade to package 3, you can do that. You'll find that as people start to pay their subscriptions, then members above them will be receiving their payments in, and the flow on will just continue through with the upgrading. So anyway, that's where we are. We only just introduced that in, but we weren't going to let in. We wanted to make sure that people didn't get skipped out there, but it is getting to the point now where I've had a lot of people coming to me wanting to upgrade to package 3, so we allowed that out there. So look, that's where I am. And during this webinar, I could get some updates in. I have no idea, because we try to give them their space. These programmers, we try to give them their space to complete what they're doing, rather than continuing, are we there yet, are we there yet? I mean, it's really nowhere you want to be, having them stop what they're doing to give us a report. So we know that they're wanting to finish, because there's a UK team in Los Angeles working over there as well, and the head of the UK team went back to London last week, it was, for meetings with the bank and the technical team in the bank. Went on for 3 days, and then he's back in Los Angeles now. So there's a lot of things going on there, and as I said, it's a lot of moving parts to what we're doing. It's probably the biggest undertaking that I've ever been involved with, and it just seems to get bigger as we go. Just with our alliance partners, I just want to add in with BCN, and obviously through programming things, and obviously their physical product, which is their mining activity, and the mining facilities they had a bit of an issue with where they placed them in the States, so they had to relocate them, and they've had issues with mining equipment being delivered, and it's just a whole range of things that can happen out there when you're actually dealing with a physical product. And that's one of the reasons I went for staking the NLA coin, because we don't have that issue. It's a staking thing out there, which it's not a physical product. Our product is our own computer. But when you get into mining, it can become very intricate. So they've got updates on their site. They haven't put one on for a little while yet. The last one was in April, so we're waiting for some sort of update. But every now and again I go into their Facebook area, and there's a lot of members posting updates in there as well, just things that have been going on, so I can see where they're at, and they're trying to get what they need to get sorted out, and look at what can happen out there with a volatile coin. I mean, Bitcoin at the moment, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash have been taking a bit of a dive out there. I mean, the prices, I think the last I looked at Bitcoin, it went under the $8,000 mark. I think it went as low as 7,300 or 400. I did see it out there, so it can be a difficult time, and that's why mining is important. I mean, if you were just buying and holding the coins, you may have bought in December and paid $20,000 for whatever unit value of coin you purchased, and of course now it's gone down under 8,000, so you'd be having to hold that or get rid of it if you've had to borrow money to buy. A lot of people are doing that. A lot of people did lose money. They could see the value going up on the coin, so they maxed their credit cards out to buy the Bitcoin, and away it went. So that's the problem when you've got a volatile coin. When we actually, because Bitcoin was never released for anything, it just was a currency that was going on out there. It wasn't released for any particular reason. But ours, when we released first of all the Jingling and then the Next Level Africa, it had a purpose, and the purpose was to use as currency in the NLA program. And so we decided to back it. We were going to back the coin, the asset account, but then the bank came along and liked what they could see and decided to make an offer and took over the Jingling, and in doing that they gave us our own NLA coin. So that's how we finished up with the NLA coin, and it will have a $20 billion asset backing from the bank, which is being placed into the account over a 5-year period, so it's got another couple of years to go yet, and you will see that the asset account will be in excess of the $20 billion because it'll start its own trading very, very shortly. I don't officially know the price of the NLA coin because the site's down. They haven't upgraded the asset account or the value of the coin from the market maker for the last it's probably been 6 weeks. You lose track of time sometimes when they go down, but you will find that the NLA coin will be somewhere around about the $120 mark, I should imagine, and Jingling, it should be over the $600 mark. So the coins have certainly held their own. They've never gone down in value, and the only reason that the NLA coin is what it is out there, it would be in bigger demand and for more money if I didn't allow the dollar coins to be flowing through Next Level Africa. That's what's holding it back. So when we stop that, you will find that the only place to purchase the coin will be from the exchange or from members, and the true value of the market maker will certainly be part of it. But anyway, with BCN, I've got no problems with that. They're just a little bit slow getting their mining sorted out, and they've got other things that there's far too many things for me to try and go through them on this call, but they've got quite a few things that they're doing. We have a number of members that are taking BCN accounts this week, so some people may see some activity underneath them. It's been because what I'm trying to do is we've got enough issues going on with Next Level Africa and CEX out there. I didn't want to have the same thing going on with BCN. They've been going for 3 years now. They're a very solid company, but they've changed the way they do things, changing payment processing and wanting to upgrade their website and also increasing their mining capacity. So this has been a bit of a challenge for them getting this in place, but nevertheless it's quite a good concept out there. And one of the reasons that we looked at it is because we could see the value in becoming involved in the mining world out there, because what we really want to be able to do is diversify. So we've got activity going on there in the way of the coins we stake through our staking process, and then any other coins that we feel we want to be involved with mining, because they're going to be mining more and more coins out there as well. And incidentally, that when we just to mention our exchange, I want to confirm that we have now taken over CEX, the running of CEX, but because the bank have a major interest in it, the bank are always going to be part of it, because they look after our asset account, and they look after the payment processing, money going in, money going out, and also they are associated with the market maker out there. So there'll be certain things that we will look after in the support area of it, and certain things that will be the bank So we'll as I said, it'll just be a fine line between us getting it worked out there. So we're just in the process now of getting our maintenance contracts in place and our support. But as you can see, with the site down, it's hard to get things going. But in saying that, I'll be able to put any coin that we feel is worthwhile putting into CEX, so you'll see a lot more coins become available for trading, because we're looking to try and attract some investments coming through the exchange there, because it's look, unlike a lot of other exchanges, you remember this, it's backed by the bank, and so it's and the security is total bank security. There's been a lot of exchanges that have had issues out there and have crashed and been infiltrated, hacked, and but there's going to be very little chance of that happening with the CEX exchange, because of all the security going in place with it. So that will be an excellent thing once we're up and running and we've got a lot more activity going on with coins that we can have in there, various tokens. The other thing too is I received a call from the CEO of UPB. You've heard me mention about UPB, Universal Plan B Plus. They have just completed their testing and they're now in the process of launching. Look, the Roslyn, who looks after the liaison between the programmer and the CEO as well, getting a lot of things in place. Her computer crashed, so she's just replaced her computer, but they're telling me that it should be any time now. Everything's been ticked off. They'll be loading up the database in there, getting some checks on it. So once they get that in place and we're happy that it's running correctly, that everything's doing what it should be doing, then we'll have a look at doing some promotional activity. And remember this, that the UPB, where it's important and a link to what we're doing, is that they're going to be using the NLA coin. And the other thing too is that, look, possibly about, we lose track of time now, but it goes back about 15 or 16 months ago. The owner of the company asked me would I consider being the master distributor for the UPB, and because it involves the NLA coin, then I certainly gave it some thought on, because we can run it in conjunction. And so I've taken that on. So I am actually the master distributor for UPB Plus. That gives me quite a bit of input into how the program is built, and so I'll be able to obviously be able to make sure that the NLA community benefit from anything that we do there, because as I said, with these programs that I look at, the criteria that I have is the product of cryptocurrency, not just any old product. It's the crypto world out there. I think that anybody that follows the crypto world and blockchain technology can see that we're on the right track with a lot of this going on, so it's important to stay with it. We also have a payment processor that we're looking at, and they're just in the process now of getting some legal documentation completed. They did look, when we first looked at the product out there, they did tell me it should be 2 or 3 weeks off, but when you go through any government controlled area out there, it can be a little bit longer than you anticipate, because it's a very, very intricate program, payment processor they have, which involves shopping, where you get credited with using your shopping if you wish to go to shopping at various supermarkets. They've got a couple of super large supermarkets over in the UK that have signed up for it, and including Amazon and eBay out there as well. So this is a payment processor that's only one part of it. They call it their ecosystem, and but the whole thing is that you can exchange money from member to member at no cost. The loading process is a lot more cost effective than anything I've ever seen. So once we get the program and we're able to check it out and we feel it's something that we can use, we'll certainly let members know about it. But we're in the process of looking at lots and lots of payment processes out there in order to get the right payment processor for what we want to do. So we are working on that, and I'm sure it'll be an excellent payment processor out there. So they've certainly spent a lot of time with it, and the person behind it is a lawyer, and he's had a lot of experience in the banking world, so it's certainly looking rather good. And he's Irish. I mean, that should be enough said out there with it. So, but anyway, look, they're all the issues that we're dealing with, and we're moving through them. As I said, I'm hoping to get, and we will continue, if we get some hot news, we will continue to get that news out to the members before we have the webinars. But these webinars are really just to keep members informed, because it is important that we all realise that we are here, we're all on the same team, we all want the same result, and from the time that I built Next Level Africa, it's certainly grown. I mean, Next Level Africa is a sleeping giant at the moment, and when it's really released to the world out there, it's certainly going to be something that a lot of people will want to become part of, purely because of the association we have with this banking group. And we are dealing with the banking group that we've got. There's some 70 banks involved with it, so it would be the largest financial institution in the world that we've got as part of, and they're certainly behind us in everything that we do out there. But we have to make sure that we do it right, and hopefully they'll stay with us. And of course, look, with these webinars, what we've noticed, people passing the webinars on, the recordings of the webinars to people, because in the MLM world, it's one of those things out there that the easiest way to build your business, and we call it TTP, and TTP stands for Talk to People, and that's as simple as it gets. And if that doesn't work, you TTMP, you talk to more people, because it does work. We've noticed that. It's you never know who you know who they know. It's all about the circle of influence that people know out there. And of course, we've just got more and more people that are finding out about Next Level Africa. I know that over the time we've had people leave us as well, and I certainly don't blame them for that out there. But the ones that have been true to what we've been doing out there, and can see that we have a process in place, and we're governed by how fast we can do it by the banks, so consequently we just move with that. Anyway, well, look, I'll move on to the promotion that we have going, and I want to mention this as well, that this particular promotion has been one of the major promotions that I didn't realize just how many members and their families and friends that wanted to become part of this as well, and it's encouraging to see the amount of people taking on additional accounts with Next Level Africa. In the last month, it's hard to work this figure out, but in the last month since we started this promo, there's approximately about $3 million in coin value that it will be going into the matrix, and people in the matrix will be the recipients of sharing that. So we've certainly had a lot of interest in what goes on, so don't underestimate on this program. And of course the people taking it are getting themselves in a position, because we do have some large organizations that want to be taking on positions with this. And one of the things I did mention before is that, look, I've got to be careful how I mention this, because this is not about me trying to use influence there to get people to do things or else. It's all about everyone helping each other. And because we are dealing with $100 billion a year that we'll have granted to us to hand out to our humanitarian projects, if you wanted to work that out, that could be $2 billion a week that we'll be handing out. That could go out to one humanitarian group. It might go out to 21 humanitarian groups out there. But what I'm going to be asking them is to support the hand that's feeding them. In other words, if we were to do a grant for a humanitarian project and that grant were $1 billion, I might want to ask them if they would consider investing $50 million of that back into the community in the way of either, because with the humanitarian projects, they're obviously looking after a lot of people, so they could take positions in Next Level Africa to cover those people, because once they've got positions in Next Level Africa, then those positions can eventually start earning income for them. And so having that in place out there would be a very logical thing for them to do, to support their humanitarian group, and it also supports the community that's supporting them and being able to give them. Because when we do a grant for a humanitarian project, that grant could happen every year, and not only happen every year but increase every year, because we will be receiving an additional amount on the grant, because we just, that's how it runs. So consequently, we're really looking at how we run the system out there, and you know, trying to benefit the entire community, because that money could be used in purchasing coins from our exchange, and that's not a gift that we're looking for them, but it's certainly if they purchase coins from the exchange and then relisted the coins back up on the exchange for sale, you can see where the supply and demand out there, if we had a lot of people doing that with the investors we've got there, our own humanitarian groups out there, the coin value could go through the roof. And unlike a lot of volatile coins, ours will continue to rise, rather than, because it has use, rather than to go back. I have mentioned before how the banks, how they get together and they use the chingaling as the stored value to purchase. When the coin is sold, they use 50% of the sale and put it into the asset account of chingaling. They then put the other 50% through an investment process for 14 days through futures trading, and it returns them approximately 22% per day. So if you were to look at, if there were $1,000, and believe you me, it's many thousands of times that, millions of times. So if you were to look at that out there, and there were $1,000, 500 in the asset account, 500 in the investment, after 14 days that would return $2,200. What they do with that is that the 500 goes into the asset account that was allocated to the asset account, and 90% of that is allocated for the humanitarian project. Now, we're not talking about $1,000, we're talking in the billions that they invest in this on a fortnightly basis, because you will see, we haven't been able to see it for a while, but you will see approximately $2 to $3 billion a month going into, or more. Actually, that figure can go in twice a month. So it can be around the $5 or $6 billion a month going into the global exchange and CEX. Just to let you know, that's where the money comes from. It's their investments out there. So it's a very solid structure they've put in place, and so to be part of this is absolutely enormous. I mean, there are no other organization in the world that can boast of the financial backing that we have in what we do. Okay, as I mentioned, that what will happen, and we're trying to do this by the end of June, there'll be no more dollar coins in Next Level Africa. That will cease. All coins will be purchased from the exchange, and what the price will be according to what the market maker sets the value of the coin at. So if the coin is valued at whatever it is, that's the price you'll see it being sold for. And it's a bit of like supply and demand. It's if the market maker sets the coin at a value and the coin is in big demand, you might find it's being sold for more than that. If the coin is not in big demand, you might see it's being sold for less than that. But by the same token, that's where all coins, so the dollar coin will no longer be. And as I mentioned before, that with UPB using the NLA coin, there is no other program that I'll allow to do the dollar coins in, so it's only been exclusively for Next Level Africa. And in some ways that's what's been holding the coins back in their value on the exchange. But I had to try and do a balance on this, and what it meant was that I've been able to put literally billions of dollars in value back into the NLA community, which members will see the value on that once we get started with the system out there. So it was a balance out there. So the crypto world that we are involved with will certainly benefit a lot of people. Now look, we are making this special offer to our members and guests. If you purchase 50 plus positions in Next Level Africa at $20 US for each position, we will need a spreadsheet so that they can be loaded in by our programmer, and they will fall on line 9. The reason we are doing this is to secure the dollar coin for the upgrade. Now these positions that are being taken, they will be in front of some of the larger groups that we're having coming in, and I want to make sure we get to the point where we allow for the dollar coin to continue on these particular areas. So that $20, just to try and let you understand what that is. When we purchase the coins, we actually pay $1.10 for them. It's a 10% fee on the coin that's put on by the bank, and that covers the purchasing on the coin, because even though we don't deal with the coin through the exchange, we have to purchase the coin directly. So that represents the value of the coin. The other part of it is because we are receiving funds from all over the world, and there's a banking fees on things out there, we've had to add a little bit to it to cover that. The other side of it is that the programmers will charge us to load the CSV files in. So when we give them the file, they load it in, they will charge us for it. So that $20 is, look, it's hard to say whether it's enough to cover. It might finish up being 50 cents too much, it might be 50 cents too little. But nevertheless, we've come up with that fee so that we can manage you know, what we need to do out there. And certainly we've had, in the last week, we've had the busiest week we've had in this, so I think a lot more people are really understanding of getting it, because once it finishes, it's never going to happen again. So by taking a position in this, and I want to point this out, let's assume that you had just one position. That one position could receive 30 coins, and they will because of the amount of people that coming in. If the coins were valued at $100, that would be $3,000. So that position could earn you $3,000 for a $20 investment. So it's very, very special on doing that. And what it actually does, the 50, just wanting to point this out, this is why it pays for members to spread the news on this, because let's assume something. Let's assume that there were 50 positions taken in the downline, obviously on line 9. What actually happens from that, 17 people get paid their 30 coins above that. Those 17 people then pay their package 2 upgrade. So you then have a number of people above that, 17 people paying you've got 2 people that would receive their full amount of 180 coins. Now if those 2 people upgraded to package 3, the recipient on that would receive 2 lots of payment from package 3, which is 100 coins for each package, 200 coins. At $100 a coin, that's $10,000 or $20,000 for the 2 packages. So you can see just by handing this information out, because whether the 50 group go underneath you in the matrix, eventually one of the 50 groups will, because we're literally going to have thousands that will go in there. So you can see where the entire community benefits all the way through with this, because it just simply gets passed up through the matrix. Now what we decided to do as well, as a bit of an extra helping hand out there for our members, is that we've decided to do some partial positions in NLA. So sending an expression of interest for the partial positions, which is 10 plus. We don't want to be doing one at a time, it's too time consuming, and our admin have got a very busy schedule out there, so we want to try and keep everyone as productive as possible. So what we will do, we will link the members together and submit the CSV file. The cost of that would be $22 just to cover the additional administration costs and managing it out there. But when you consider the amount of money that you could earn from something like that, it's certainly it really no comparison of paying $22 with the possibility of getting back, even if you had one person join underneath you and you received 10 coins from that, that's $1,000 if the coins were valued at $100. By the time we get to the end of June, the NLA coin, look, I'm trying to be conservative on it, but it's going to nudge $200 a coin. Now you can send all expressions of interest, will go to support@smada.world. Now we're storing all of that. Angelina is the is head of this. Angelina compiles everything. She goes back to liaise with everyone and helps them out with what they need to do. out there. So all I can say is that I've had people coming to me telling me what a wonderful job that Angelina's doing, so helpful, and I do appreciate that, and I think the entire community does appreciate what Angelina, and of course Karen and Julie are also involved out there, so we do have a good support system in place there. So that's what happens with that. You need to get expressions of interest into support at smada.world on there. Just to let you know where when we started on this, on the 23rd of the 3rd, our asset account stood at 4.5 billion and the coin value was $62 a coin. The last report we had, or asset information, was on the 10th of the 4th, so we're looking at probably 6 weeks ago, and the coin value at that point was $80.07 a coin. Now we've had a few increases which are not showing on the exchange, well obviously not now because it's down, but they haven't, I haven't been given a really accurate figure because it's not how they work, but it's somewhere around the $120 mark that the NLA coin is now valued at. Our asset account is up around the $8 billion and the coin is valued at $120. And because it's shooting up like that, the increment increase is going to be a lot more each month. Currently it's going up at about $20 odd a month, and as that value goes up, the increase will happen a lot faster out there. So that's how it is. I remember when we first started with the NLA coin, the coin came on the market at $1.12, and when we seen an increase, sometimes we'd see an increase of 5 and 6 cents, and we thought, oh wow, that's great. If you've got something worth $1 there and it goes up 5 or 6 cents, it can be and now here we are at the coin going up certainly at a lot more than 5 or 6 cents at a time. Just a quick story. Back in the time, I had a group, an investment group, that wanted to purchase some coins. So they approached me and they wanted to buy 40,000 NLA coins. So I managed to secure the coins for them. And I secured the coins for them at the time at $1.30 a coin. Within 6 or 7 months after that, because of things backwards and forwards with problems out there, they wanted to sell the coins. And because there was uncertainty out there, it was a hard thing to do to get the coins sold. So I did mention to them, look, just keep an eye on what's going on there. Well, they almost wanted to have me strung up somewhere because of the fact that they'd invested. It was something like, because they paid in Aussie dollars here in Australia, it was 70 odd thousand Aussie dollars they paid for them. They were jumping up in the air. They now send me notes how happy they were for holding off, so they no longer want to string me up. They're more than happy about that. So you consider that they've bought 40,000 coins at $1.30, and those coins are now worth, and will be by the time we get to the end of June, will be worth heading towards a couple of $100 a coin. There's not too many cryptocurrencies that can boast of earning that sort of money. They will earn millions of dollars from this investment, and I think a lot of people are going to see that out there as well. All right, look, I'm going to just quickly hand this back over to Angelina. I do want to thank everybody for hearing me out, and I hope the information has been informative for you. And I'll hand it back over. Angelina will just compile of any Q&A if I can answer them. As you can appreciate, there are certain things I can't talk about with the banks, even though I do let it out. There's certain things I really can't comment on, so I'll answer what I can if there's any questions. Okay, with that I'll hand it back to Angelina. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Noel. And yeah, it has been a real exciting few weeks here with this promotion that we've been running with the bundled accounts, especially now that we've been able to also offer the partial bundles. We still get, well, just as many of the 50+ bundles, let me tell you. It's been busy, and I really do have a lot of fun working with all of you to get you set up and going forward. Would you like to now please type your questions into the chat box, and we'll see what we can answer for you today. And we've got another thing that I said a little earlier while people are typing their questions out. We're really noticing a pickup of numbers in our webinar attendees, and that's terrific. Thank you so much. I'm not sure why we have difficulties with people with not hearing when Noel is speaking. Sometimes you just have to log out and log back in, try using Chrome and that sort of thing. Okay, I see that the questions are starting and the comments coming in. Thank you. You're very welcome, people. We really enjoy working with you all. We have one question that started here, Noel, that has said, I have listed here an idea for a project. Did I understand well that enter this project only when you are active on your line? Actually, John, you can only enter your project when the account is online that we're active on. So if you can't log into the account, you can't enter your project. But if you can log in, yes, you can enter it. Okay, on we go. Another question, and I'll hand it back to you, Noel. So the question is from Robert, any idea when the next line will be put in? I'll keep the questions coming, please, while Noel comes back online and continues to answer the question. Back to you again, Noel.
Okay, Robert, look, thanks for that question there. What it is that we are almost at the stage where we've completed line 5. They send me line 6. We go through line 6 and just double check on that to see where we're at. Once we're happy with line 6, we send it back to them and then they load it up. I am hoping that next week line 6 will be loaded in there. So a lot more projects, a lot more members will start to happen because there's 700 odd accounts on line 6. So that way it'll certainly add some flavour to it there. So with line 6 we've got I'm just doing some numbers here. Just line 6 going in to the matrix, what that actually does, it adds value in the coins at $100 a coin, and I'm trying to be conservative out there because it's hard to put a value on it. That would mean over $1 million is then generated into the matrix. So you can see that getting these lines in, and the people in the matrix now will be recipients of that flow of dollars that come through there. So it certainly shows us that we've got something rather special going on here now. I just want to go back over some of the things here. Maxine, they could work on their projects getting ready for when their line is ready. Well, that's right. Maxine is our is our specialist at assisting and working with some major groups out there. So when Maxine talks, I just simply pay attention because she's got some very good points, but certainly getting ready for it so that you've got your project ready to go there, so it goes in, because the banks have got us under the microscope now with the projects. So the better the projects, the more of them, the more money that we'll be able to ask for our grants. So remember, support, were you able to receive the project Vernico through support? That's not quite our support. It's support at smada.world, where we're sending them. I don't really have a lot to do with the individual projects out there, remember, but if you've sent it through, then I'm sure that it will be there. But we investigate the projects to make sure they hit certain criteria out there. So if you've listing your projects into your back office is probably where the best place to put them. John, is there any format for creating a project? Look, we are just getting that in place now, because we're waiting for information from the banks to make sure on that. Certain projects are pretty much straightforward, because if you're doing a personal project, it could be that you're raising funds to send your child to school. Educational projects, it could very well be that that you are a charitable organisation. There's certain criteria with that, and of course the humanitarian. So we're looking for guidance from the banks, and they'll be giving us that with the humanitarian stuff. But the other crowdfunding things out there, personal things, and just things that are not humanitarian, individual stuff out there, it's pretty straightforward on what you can do with that, as long as it's above board, not adult content or anything to do with terrorism and stuff out there. It's pretty much straightforward on what you can ask for crowdfunding to do with. Robert has asked, what happens about the people who piggyback onto the main projects? I'm not sure what you mean by that. If someone's piggybacked onto a project, the piggyback works in a sequence. Our piggyback works in a sequence where it just runs in rotation. So if somebody is upgrading and they don't have their own project, and they piggyback, it'll just come up the next available piggyback. So nothing happens with it. You've just piggybacked onto the project. Remember, our project, although it is humanitarian systems, it offers to pay an income monthly or quarterly to the NLA fund as paying forward. Is this acceptable? Well, the reason it is because what we encourage people to do, and this will become fairly obvious out there, is taking on additional positions in Next Level Africa. What that actually gives you, a platform. It gives you a platform for crowdfunding, and in that platform you can either hold it yourself to run a project through it, or you can really donate that to your community if that's what you want to do. You've got a lot of social groups and fundraising groups, and it could be Boy Scouts, it could be any church groups, it could be anything at all within the community that you want to make them aware that they can raise money through that. So certainly being able to pass this on to your community is certainly somewhere that everybody wants to be with it. So you will be able to donate and pay it forward for, because each individual will determine what they want to do with that position in the matrix, whether it's just offering the platform for the crowdfunding platform, or whether it's a complete position in the matrix. All right, well look, we've almost done that hour. It's hard sometimes to keep all the information down under the hour, but we do our best so that we don't you know, drive you insane with it. And I'm going to just, while we're on the call here, if you just give me 2 seconds, I'm just going to double check to see if we've got any further updates from Los Angeles. And as I said, they're halfway through their day over there now, so I never know as to what we're going to get. Doesn't look like they're answering me. That's hopefully a good thing, that they're busy getting the CEX all sorted out. All right, look, I'm going to hand this back to Angelina, and I do want to thank everybody for turning up, and hopefully we've got more information on the next webinar. But don't forget, with your expressions of interest for the 50+ accounts, get them in. I'm not sure how long we'll be able to run these for, because I want to secure the coins for them, and the bank have certainly looked after me on that, but I'm not sure, because we have got a lot coming in, and I want to make sure the members do get the benefit of that. Once it's finished, it's finished. Okay, I'll hand this back to Angelina. Thanks everyone for turning up.
Okay, just very quickly, I'm going to add to Noel's comments to Robert, your question about the piggybacks. Remember, the piggyback feature qualifies you as well to go forward for receiving commissions from the rest of the upgrades. You do need to either have your own project that you create and add into the crowdfunding platform, or you need to piggyback, which means that another member's project will benefit from coins being received as your donation. Okay, so anyway, I hope that helps you understand a little bit more, Robert, the aspect about piggybacking. Well, we are at the 2-minute top to the hour there, so we do like to have you all turn out, and thank you so much for continuing to spread the word to everyone, and for participating, and for being such great people that are always so cheerful and loyal and wanting to help. So everyone, have a great day no matter where you are and what time of the day, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye for now.